I embrace that and I enjoy that change. I don't fear it. That's the bit that excites me, is the idea of being able to bring some change. Not overly radical change, but changes that I think...
Tonight, Buckingham Palace stands silent, but its walls echo with heartbreak. After weeks of speculation and growing concern, the palace has finally spoken, confirming what royal watchers feared. Something deeply personal has shaken the future king. Prince William, long regarded as the steady heart of the modern monarchy, has faced challenges before: family rifts, relentless media pressure, and the shadow of unimaginable loss. But this feels different. The palace's statement was brief, measured, but the tone told a story words could not. It spoke of private matters and a difficult time for His Royal Highness. For many, those words were enough to signal that behind the polished facade, something has gone terribly wrong. What could bring such visible sorrow to a man trained from birth to hide emotion? What truth forced the royal household, known for its silence, to finally speak? Tonight, the world looks toward the palace gates not for ceremony, but for answers. And as the story unfolds, it reveals a side of Prince William few have ever seen. Not the heir, not the symbol of stability, but a man confronting pain no crown can shield him from. This is the heartbreaking reality behind the palace's announcement. For most of his life, Prince William has been the embodiment of composure. Born into duty, raised under the scrutiny of the entire world, he has learned to smile when others might break. Every gesture, every word, every public moment, measured, precise, purposeful. To the public, he's the dependable heir. To those closest to him, he's simply a son, a husband, and a father trying to hold everything together. Since his childhood, tragedy and expectation have shaped him. The loss of his mother, Princess Diana, was the defining wound of his youth, a heartbreak endured beneath global spotlight. Walking behind her coffin at 15, he learned what it meant to bear grief in silence. That silence, taught by the institution itself, became his armor. Decades later, that armor began to crack. The pressures of succession, public scrutiny over his family, and the immense responsibility of representing the monarchy in a changing world began to take their toll. Yet William, ever stoic, never allowed the public to see that strain. Until recently, observers first noticed subtle signs: cancelled appearances, subdued expressions during official engagements, moments of distance where warmth once shone. At first, palace aides dismissed them as routine adjustments, but whispers began to spread. Something was troubling the prince. Then came tonight's announcement. A short statement, but heavy with implication. His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales is taking time to address a private matter. The family requests understanding during this period. No further details were given. No illness named. No event confirmed. But within those carefully chosen words, the truth was unmistakable. Something serious was unfolding. Behind closed doors, those who know William describe a man torn between duty and emotion. Sources close to the family say he has been under enormous strain, balancing his royal responsibilities with deep personal concerns. They speak of sleepless nights, quiet worry, and moments of reflection that last for hours. For a man who has always put country before self, stepping back, even briefly, is monumental. It marks a turning point not only for him, but for the entire monarchy. Because when the heir to the throne falters, the world notices. Yet, in this moment of uncertainty, one truth shines through: Prince William's humanity. The same compassion that once made him the people's hope is now what makes this chapter so profoundly moving. He is living proof that beneath the weight of the crown, even a future king can struggle, can hurt, can heal. And as the palace faces growing questions, the coming days will reveal what truly lies behind this silence, and how Prince William, the man shaped by loss and responsibility, will find the strength to rise once more. For days the British press had been on edge. Royal correspondents, usually well-informed, were left in the dark. The palace, known for its calm, rehearsed silence, had not responded to the growing wave of speculation. And then, without warning, came the statement that changed everything. It was brief, barely a paragraph long, but the impact was immediate. The Prince of Wales is focusing on a private matter at this time. The family appreciates the public's understanding and continued support, Those few lines spread like wildfire across the globe. Every news channel, every online platform, every royal watcher, all asking the same question: what happened to Prince William? The tone of the statement was unusual. It lacked the formality that often defines royal communication. Instead, it carried a quiet sadness, an acknowledgement of struggle, a request for compassion. That alone told seasoned observers something extraordinary was happening behind the palace gates. In the hours that followed, sources close to the royal household spoke cautiously. One insider described the atmosphere at Kensington Palace as somber but united. Another mentioned that William had been advised by close family members to step away from certain royal duties for the foreseeable future. The reason? Emotional and personal strain. It's no secret that the last few years have been among the most challenging in modern royal history. The loss of Queen Elizabeth II marked the end of an era. King Charles's reign brought change, but also new expectations. And for William, as both son and heir, the pressure doubled. He became the bridge between the monarchy's past and its uncertain future. Those who've seen him in private say he carries that burden with quiet dignity. But lately, the weight has been heavier than ever. Balancing the demands of public service, family life, and personal trials has left little room for rest. Insiders reveal that William has been deeply reflective, torn between duty to the crown and his need to protect the people he loves most. The statement, subtle as it was, signals something rarely seen in royal history: vulnerability. For centuries, the monarchy has thrived on strength and composure, but this time, the silence broke with emotion. Even the king, known for his reserve, reportedly reached out to his eldest son in private, offering support and urging him to take time away from the spotlight. Catherine, ever graceful and steadfast, has stood firmly by his side, shielding their children from the storm. In the face of endless speculation, William's decision to pause is both brave and human. It reminds the world that beneath the crown lies a man who bleeds, who grieves, who feels the weight of expectations that never lift. And as the nation waits for clarity, the palace's silence, this time, feels less like secrecy and more like protection, because behind those gilded gates, the heir to the throne is not just managing the affairs of a kingdom. He's fighting to preserve his own peace. Behind the polished smile, the royal waves, and the military posture, there is a man the world rarely sees, a man who feels, doubts, and fears just like anyone else. That man is Prince William. Those who know him say that in private, he is warm, thoughtful, and fiercely protective of those he loves. He laughs easily, listens intently, and carries himself with quiet humility, a far cry from the image of privilege that often surrounds royalty. But beneath that calm surface lies a lifetime of pressure, pain, and the relentless burden of expectation. From his earliest memories, William has known that his life would never belong entirely to him. Every decision, every friendship, every word he speaks is measured through the lens of monarchy. That awareness shaped him, not into a rebel, but into a man determined to do things differently. He wanted to be the kind of king his mother once dreamed of, compassionate, grounded, human. Diana's influence runs deep in him. Her belief that kindness is strength still guides him today. But that same emotional openness, the ability to feel deeply, has made his journey infinitely harder. In recent months, that emotional depth has been tested more than ever. Friends close to the couple reveal that William has struggled quietly, carrying more than the public realizes. The combined weight of family challenges, royal duty, and the constant intrusion of the press has left scars that can't be seen, but can be felt in his demeanor. Observers noticed how the light in his eyes seemed dimmer during public engagements, how his trademark calm gave way to brief moments of visible strain. For a man who has spent a lifetime concealing emotion, those cracks spoke volumes, and through it all, Catherine, his wife and constant companion, has remained his anchor. Together, they've faced the unrelenting spotlight of fame while trying to raise their children in a world that rarely offers them privacy. Insiders say that she has been his quiet strength, urging him to slow down, to breathe, to remember that he's more than the role he was born into. In the rare moments away from cameras, William finds solace in simplicity. Long walks on the grounds of Windsor, evenings reading bedtime stories to his children, hours spent reflecting on the legacy he hopes to leave behind, not as a monarch, but as a father. Those close to him describe a man at a crossroads, torn between the life he inherited and the life he longs for. The palace announcement may have shocked the world, but those who truly understand him know this was inevitable. No one, not even a future king, can carry that much for that long without breaking. Yet despite the turmoil, there's a quiet strength in how he faces it. William's silence isn't avoidance, it's dignity. His restraint isn't weakness, it's control. And though he stands in the shadow of public curiosity, he continues to honor the legacy of his mother, to lead not through power, but through grace. For now, he steps back, not to retreat, but to heal. Because before he can wear the crown, he must reclaim the man beneath it. As the dust begins to settle around the palace's quiet revelation, one truth becomes clear. This moment is not about scandal or retreat. It's about survival. For Prince William, stepping back is not an act of weakness. It's an act of courage. History often paints the monarchy as unshakable, an institution immune to emotion, where duty eclipses personal pain. But in reality, every crown rests upon a human head, and every title conceals a beating heart. William's story reminds the world of that truth more than ever before. Behind the grandeur of royal life lies an unrelenting pressure. Every headline, every photograph, every whisper becomes a test of endurance. Yet unlike those who came before him, William is determined to break that cycle, to redefine what strength truly means for a modern monarch. Those who have spoken to the palace since the announcement say this: period of silence is more than a pause. It's a recalibration. The future king is taking time to rebuild, to prioritize family, and to rediscover purpose away from the constant noise of public expectation. It's not the image the monarchy has traditionally shown, but perhaps it's the one it needs most right now. A future king who values honesty over image, empathy over ceremony. In many ways, William's journey mirrors that of his late mother. Diana fought to humanize the crown, to remind the world that compassion could coexist with tradition. Now her eldest son walks that same line, carrying her spirit in every step. Her lessons echo in his choices, the desire to protect his children, the insistence that love must always come before protocol, and the belief that vulnerability is not a flaw, but a form of strength. The palace, often criticized for its silence, seems to have embraced this new era of transparency, carefully, quietly, but unmistakably. Insiders suggest that both King Charles and Queen Camilla have offered their full support to William and Catherine, understanding that the monarchy's survival depends not on appearances, but on authenticity. In the public eye, William remains the composed and dutiful figure the world respects. But those who glimpse him away from the cameras see something deeper, a man who still grieves his mother, who wrestles with the ghosts of the past, and who understands that the future of the crown depends on his humanity, not his perfection. For now, the palace stands behind closed doors, its corridors filled with quiet reflection rather than noise. Outside, millions of supporters send messages of sympathy and admiration. The world watches, not with judgment, but with empathy, because even the most powerful families are not immune to life's trials. And when Prince William returns, and he will, it will not be as the man who hid his pain behind the polished image of royalty. It will be as someone reborn from it, a man who knows the true cost of leadership and the deeper meaning of strength, because in the end, crowns may glitter, but it's the heart that holds the kingdom together.